The world we live in has been full of people, each of whom has done something throughout history. Some did good things, while others did bad. Some caused the death of people, while others prevented of the death of others. Today we are going to look at 10 of the most terrifying dictators in history. Dictator number 10, Yakubu Gowon, the dictator of Nigeria. We know that Nigeria has the largest oil reserve in Africa. Gowon came to power in 1966 after 2 military coups. At that time, Nigeria was in a state of crisis. In 1967, the self-proclaimed Republic of Biafra was declared in southeastern Nigeria by Colonel Ojukwu. This region was mostly supported by the Igbo ethnic group, who were dissatisfied with the oppression and discrimination by the central Nigerian government. However, Gowon and the central government did not accept the separatism, and a civil war ensued, lasting for 3 years. When Biafra separated from Nigeria, under Gowon's order, no food was allowed to reach the area. As a result, 1 million people died of starvation, and 100,000 soldiers were killed in the war. Mengistu Haile Mariam is one of the most prominent and controversial political and military figures in Ethiopia, who served as the leader of Marxist military dictatorship of the country from 1977 to 1991. By implementing harsh and oppressive policies, he had a profound impact on the modern history of Ethiopia and the Inter-East African region. At that time, it was almost impossible to walk through the streets of Ethiopia without seeing groups. He would have anyone who made the slightest wrong comment executed. There is no exact figure of the number he's killing, but it is estimated that they murdered at least 2 million people. Kim Il-sung, the leader of North Korea, initiated the Korean War but was defeated, leading to a high barrier being erected between North and South Korea. Exile and labor camps. Kim Il-sung established a system of labor camps where real or potential opponents of the regime, along with their family, were sent. These camps involved hard labor, starvation, torture, and even mass execution. It is estimated that tens of thousands of people lost their lives in this camp. This policy, known as the 3 generation of punishment, means that if someone was identified as an opponent of the regime, not only they, but 3 generations of the family would also be punished. He killed an estimated 1.6 million people. Pol Pot, the leader of Cambodia, didn't start the war, but he killed 1/5 of the country's population. He would take anyone he could capture to the agriculture fields and force them into executive labor, leading to many deaths due to overwork, starvation, and disease. He killed nearly 2.5 million people. Ismail Pasha, an Ottoman commander, employed thousands of workers in large infrastructure projects, including the construction of Suez Canal. These workers often labored under extremely harsh and inhuman conditions, with many losing their lives due to disease, starvation, and exhausting labor. However, the exact number of people who died as a result of this exploitation is not fully known. Tojo had not yet come to power during the massacre. Japan's crime in China continued under his support and leadership. During the massacre of 1937, Japanese force killed more than 200,000 Chinese civilians and raped thousands of women and children. One of Japan's most horrific crimes during the war was of use women from occupied countries, especially Korea, China, and the Philippines, as sexual slaves for Japan soldiers. These women, known as comfort women, were forced into sexual servitude for the soldiers and lived under inhuman conditions. There is no exact figure for the number of people he killed, but it is estimated that he was responsible for at least 5 million deaths. The second Leopold, King of Belgium from 1865 to 1909, is primarily known for the horrific crimes that took place in his private colony, the Belgian Congo, during his rule in Congo. He was responsible for one of the most brutal instances exploitation, massacre, and abuse of the native African population in modern history. Under Second Leopold regime, millions of people in Congo lost their lives, and he is recognized as one of the most tyrannical colonial rulers due to these atrocities. The Hitler. The Holocaust is one of the greatest crimes against humanity in contemporary history that occurred during Hitler's leadership. The Holocaust refers to systematic and organized genocide of approximately 6 million Jews in Europe. This genocide was carried out by various Nazi pursuits, including forced labor camps and extermination camps. The Nazis also target other minority groups and political opponents. Some of the other target groups include Roma, people with disabilities, homosexuals, communists, and political dissidents. Stalin, he didn't have a liking for Russians and Ukrainians. He dealt harshly with anyone who opposed him, even in the slight way. He killed 10 million Ukrainians and throughout his life was responsible for the deaths of 23 million people. Mao Zedong, the leader of China who carried out massive killing. At the beginning of his rule, he forced 6 million people into hard labor, making them work to the point of death. After a while, he enacted a law to turn China into the largest steel producer. He compelled everyone to produce steel, even in their homes, melting down their cooking utensils to do so. This led to the devaluation of steel, and people became even poorer, as no one wanted to buy steel. As a result, 20 million people died of starvation. He hindered education, insisting that people should work in agriculture. He asked the public for their opinion in improving the country, but identified 500,000 people whose ideas contradicted Mao's wishes and executed them for their dangerous idea. The total number of his victims reached 78 million.